I don't think I lit my pipe very well this morning. It's a burbia, and it's a ninja. Ninja. The reason I got this out actually is because of the Samurai guy. He was asking for us to do a VR, and he wanted to know who the people that helped form us when we were young, you know, who our inspirations were and stuff like that when we were young. So I said, well, if you're going to talk to a samurai, you should be doing it as a ninja. In it, I have Eric Stokeby's newest blend. I'm very lucky that I get a brand new tin of everything that he comes out with, signed. He will send them to me, or a friend of mine who he knows and who signs for them to send to me, kind of thing. I'm a lucky girl. So this morning I woke up, I was achy and stuff, so I'm in a swimsuit because I'm going to go hop into my hot tub as soon as I get done with a little bit of nicotine here. It's just a wonderful pipe. It smokes so nice. So that beautiful amber. A little bit darker down the bottom. This band is just gorgeous on there, and then the amber underneath it. So this band is actually part of this band here is part of the stem. It's not, part of the stem. It's not actually in the tendon or anything. It's a piece of the bed itself. So, who made you what you are? Well, you know, I think everybody has to say, you know, your folks and your grandparents kind of make you who you are. I'm sorry, I am about empty on this. A chicken. I've tried to make this video like 3 or 4 times, so we'll see if any of these cuts get made. This is a very nice, tasty one. Down in the description and stuff, I'll put what blend it is so that you guys will know, because you know I usually choose the blend that I'm smoking by the pipe, by the smell, by the look. I don't necessarily care about the name, and so as a result, a lot of times when I'm smoking something, I don't know what I'm smoking. I just know it's what I wanted to smoke. So Vi said, you know, anyway, he wanted to know who helped us become who we are. Well, when I was a kid, I'm an old person, along with my parents, because I had a wonderful mom and dad and great grandparents and stuff. But they were, I say, my dad was in briar and my mom was in tobacco. So, of course, the tobacco's on my cellular level. So I will always be smoking a pipe till the day I die. Even if I end up with one little tube, you'll see a pipe sticking out of it. Gotta have that nicotine. Of course, luckily there's snuff and stuff like that to help with that. But so the people that formed me is people that you guys probably, some of you have heard of, some of you haven't. When I was a kid, there was Wally, Captain Wally Funk. And she was one of the Mercury 13 women that in 1965-ish, we were starting to go to the moon and stuff, but women were not allowed. And the reason women couldn't be astronauts is because they had to go through the Air Force. And the Air Force wouldn't accept women because women, honest to God, this is the reason why women had periods. And they were afraid that women would be too moody and have too many problems with that in order to be a man in a plane. So they didn't want you in a plane. So they wouldn't let women become the astronauts. So they formed Mercury 13. Now, the thing about Mercury 13, it was 13 women. They were very strong women. They went through all the training that the men in NASA went through. They should have been astronauts, but due to the fact that they couldn't go through the Air Force, that kind of kept them out of it. Wally Funk, if you take and look her up, you're going to see that she is still active, even at her age, which has got to be in the 80s now. She was just extraordinary. And when I was growing up, she had her picture either on Look or Life magazine, and as soon as she was on there, I took and took that picture off that magazine and I hung it on my wall because I wanted to be an astronaut. I really wanted to be an astronaut. I wasn't really physically able to ever because I wasn't a physical kind of person back then either. Then there was Isaac Asimov and science fiction. Although all of you guys know him for the science fiction, he's the one that got me through math. He's the one that got me through science. He he even wrote a book of limericks and stuff. So you got to realize that Isaac Asimov, that most people know, is that little bitty piece of him that had science fiction, I, Robot, those little books and stuff. But if you go and look him up, you'll see that he wrote some of the most informative books, not only just in general on space, but he was a mathematician. He was a good philosopher. He was a chemist. He was just a master of all trades. And one of the nice things is, it was nice at the time, I got to meet both of my heroes as I was growing up. I met Wally Funk, though, about 10 years ago. I had an antique shop downtown, and the lady that I rented it from, her name was Renee Adams, and I didn't know she was a helicopter pilot. I knew that, but I didn't know she knew Wally Funk. And so one day, this white-haired woman, tall white-haired woman, walked into my shop, and I knew immediately who she was. And I said, "You're Captain Wally, you know." And she was surprised that I knew who she was, and we talked for a little while. She was going to visit Renee upstairs, and it was just amazing to be able to actually talk to someone that I had admired so much. And then years and years ago, I went to a Star Trek convention, and Isaac Asimov was there, and here he is, bigger than life, you know, a guy that I had, you know, planned on being my husband. But I met him, and when I finally got up there to be able to talk to him, all I could do was stutter. You know, I couldn't even get out the words, you know, that I wanted to tell him how much he had created an impression on my life. And so that was kind of neat that the two people that when I was in my teens was so important to me, I actually got to meet. And like I say, as far as my mom and dad were concerned, I got to see them every day until they passed away, and they formed a lot. People in general should form. There's nobody that you couldn't come in contact with that doesn't leave some kind of impression on you. So, you know, along with all of those, there was all the people in Europe. I mean, when we were in Europe, we met so many people. Now, my dad sold Briar, so we were at the bottom of that chain. You know, we didn't meet the Dunhills and the you know, the owners as much as we met the people that were the buyers. And one of the nice things about that is, you know, we would traveling back in the old days. We're talking about the 60s. It was not like traveling now. We stayed at a lot of different people's houses, and so us little girls, you know, would get to meet and play with the little kids that were all involved in these big tobacco houses and pipe houses. And so we met the little people, and that was so much more fun. There wasn't a language barrier between children, and so even though we couldn't speak their language, we got to have a lot of fun with those children because us kids have our own languages. Some of them I still keep in contact with. Some of them have grown and died. Some of them have passed away. What was really nice with my dad selling Briar is I got to meet some of the people like, oh gosh, you know, I can't even begin to tell you all the people. The names that are on the bottoms of the pipes are not necessarily the names of the people that we meet. And I'm sitting out here with a blank mind as to who I'm talking about. But I've got 4 or 5 pipes that, like, say that were made by makers that remind me. I'll show you that some of my art pipes, and some of the art pipes were actually made by people that I will never smoke the pipes for. You guys all know them as somebody different, and the pipes that I'm going to show you do not look like pipes that they make nowadays. A good example is Nording's. Eric Nording went through a period where, and it was kind of fun because I got to see that, and I got one of his old pipes that he made when he was still trying to discover what kind of a carver he was going to be. And like I say, so my the people that inspired me, I'm still being inspired by people today. Even I look at some of our people like Rick Black as he's making his pipes, and I've got some very old Rick Blacks where he first started, which they actually look like pipes. And I've got some pokers that he went through that poker stage, and same with Christian Darius Christian. Actually, his name is Doris. His wife was name is Christian. But you'll see some of these. So, who was my inspiration as I was growing up? Captain Wally Funk. Look her up. You will be, if you are not impressed by her as a woman, think of her in terms of what she had to fight, what she was up against, and how good she really was as a pilot, as a person, and to be simply rejected because she was a woman is kind of a little bit of a sad part of our history. And the same goes with Isaac Asimov. Look him up for science fiction if you want, but look at what else he did. He wasn't just a science fiction writer. He wasn't just a screenplay writer for Star Trek and stuff like that. He was a very smart, intelligent, and look at some of the other things that he wrote, especially his limericks, because they were dirty limericks, and you will like some of them because they are just so doggone nasty. But happy, joy, as always. You know I'm watching you.